UFC 250 is done and it was a showcase for the bantamweight division, and that division right now has more depth than the Mariana Trench, and with TJ Dillashaw coming back it's only gonna get deeper. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the top 6 performances of UFC 250. Number 6 on this list is Devin Clark, who was going up against Alonzo Menifield in the early prelims, who before this fight had never seen a third round and had an average fight time of 2 minutes and 18 seconds, which meant that Menifield is a power puncher and looks to put his opponents away early in the first round. The fact that he had never seen a third round meant that his cardio had never been tested, so the game plan for Devin Clark was simple: survive the first round and once Menifield gets tired, work his way to a decision victory, and that is exactly what he did. Devin Clark did face some adversity early in the first round when he got clipped, but then clinched with his opponent, tired him out, and did just enough to swing the decision his way. Number 5 on this list is Cody Stamann, who was going up against Brian Kelleher. The Spartan was fighting this fight at 145 instead of 135 and looked very impressive. He looked the more powerful guy, stuffed Brian Kelleher's takedowns and led the dance on the feet as well. But the main reason Cody is on this list is because the man lost his 18-year-old brother before this fight, and he not only did not pull out of this fight but also won the fight and looked impressive while doing so. It doesn't take a genius to know that losing such a close family member takes a toll on a person's body and mind, and most people won't be able to even get out of bed, so the fact that Cody put in such a performance is something to be admired and respected. Number 4 on this list is Amanda Nunes, who was going up against Felicia Spencer for the women's featherweight title, and if it were any other fighter putting in such a dominant performance in a championship fight, they would surely be number 1 on a list such as this. But because this was Amanda Nunes, this is exactly what we expected and it is exactly what we got. And no disrespect to Felicia Spencer, she's a tough woman and the lady can take a punch. I mean, going 5 rounds with Chris Cyborg and then Amanda Nunes without getting knocked out is no easy feat, but Amanda Nunes is head and shoulders above when it comes to skill and power, and the only fighter who has a legitimate chance of beating her is the Bullet Valentina Shevchenko. And as far as I'm concerned, I think the Bullet has already beaten the Lioness in their second fight. The judges didn't see it my way though, but anyway, this was another dominant performance by the Lioness, and she continues to write her legacy as the best female fighter ever. Number 3 on this list is the Sugar Show Sean O'Malley, and he was going up against Eddie Wineland, and it didn't take the Sugar Show long to land a clean and crisp right hand and knock Eddie Wineland's lights out, and it looked as if it was going to be the knockout of the night because the connection and the walkaway was perfectly executed, but little did we know what was in store for us in the co-main event. Anyway, the man has all the hype behind him now and he looks like he has the skill to back it up. I mean, his striking looks incredible. I mean, he still needs to be tested against the top guys of the bantamweight division, but for now the man looks unstoppable. I just hope he doesn't get the Johnny Walker treatment. Number 2 on this list is Aljamain Sterling, who was going up against Corey Sandhagen. Both the fighters were tearing through the bantamweight division and it was only a matter of time before they faced each other. But the fight wasn't as competitive as one would have imagined because Aljamain Sterling got Corey Sandhagen's back early in the first round and tried to choke the Sandman. His first attempt wasn't fruitful, but the second attempt got the job done as Corey Sandhagen tapped out in the very last second before he went unconscious. But what was so impressive about Aljamain's performance was that he made a top contender like Corey Sandhagen look like an amateur, and he just made it look easy. And if it were up to me, I would give the title shot to Aljamain Sterling instead of Jose Aldo, but I think after this performance, the Funk Master is surely next in line. Number 1 on this list is Cody No Love Garbrandt, who was going up against Assunção in the co-main event. And coming into this fight, Cody had lost his last 3 fights, and not just lost them but was knocked out, mostly because he let himself lose his cool and went into war mode. But in this fight, Cody showed a high fight IQ. In the first round, Assunção was having trouble keeping up with Cody's speed, but in the second round, Assunção got his rhythm and I got a little worried because I really wanted Cody to win this fight. But right before the end of the second round, when Assunção was the most comfortable in the fight, Cody hit him with a devastating haymaker a few milliseconds before the horn and knocked him out cold. I hope this marks the return of Cody Garbrandt because the man has all the speed and the skill to be the greatest bantamweight of all time, and if he fights intelligently, I can see him being a champion once again.